Hey everybody, welcome back. If you're new here, hi, I'm Mercury. So not so long ago, I was talking to all of you about a bunch of stuff and how that's coming up and about sort of tying it into my own art and where my art stands because it, in some ways was it, ooh, I have a Halloween tree by the way. Yeah, it's purple and it's cool and it's ridiculously huge, like it's as tall as me. Anyway, sorry about the tree distraction. So I shifted gears. I had these two projects I was working on. I had the self-portrait and also this sketch of Johnny Depp that I had been working on. And I took a pause. I took a pause because I needed to sort of recalibrate, but I think I'm ready to go back. And it's perfect timing because when I like switched gears, I was working on a crochet project and I'm so close to finishing this. And the store ran out of the yarn I need. I was going to go pick up the last bit of yarn that I need to finish it. And they didn't have the right yarn. So I'm waiting patiently. Wait, I'm so close. You guys are going to see how close this is and you're going to be like, oh my gosh, Mercury, you just need one thing of yarn. Oh my gosh. So let me show you what I've been spending my creative energies on lately. Okay, I had to lay this out here on the floor because it is so huge. This was how we had to do it. Yeah, this is a crocheted blanket. So I did this corner to corner style and you'll see, I'm gonna get nice and close so you can see the stitches. This is double crochet. And the way this works is it's basically a grid. So I started in this corner and then I have been working rows on a diagonal to that corner. It looks kind of done, right? Let me show you what I have left. This corner, this one corner. So essentially there are, what is that, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 17 stitches. 17 stitches across, and it decreases by 1 stitch each row. So when I say stitches, I mean full double crochet boxes. So it's really 3 stitches per box, so 17 boxes. I need so little to get this done, and they don't have the yarn. So right now it's clipped. I'm just waiting patiently for the yarn. I'm waiting patiently for the yarn. Yeah, those are my patient fingers. See my patient fingers? But my friends, for scale, this is a huge, huge blankie. This is me on the skull portion. Huge, huge blankie. This is massive. It's fantastic. And yeah, I'm excited. It is also an extremely warm blanket. There's not a lot of like gaps between the stitches, so it's very, very warm. Even though it's only like single strand while I was crocheting, it's warm. And while I was working on it, it was like it had to be on my lap. There was no other way to work on it. So I'm like sweating while I'm working on this because it's just so thick and warm, and I'm excited. I've almost completed this wonderful project. And in case you're wondering, the awesome thing with corner to corner is you can kind of create your own projects. So what you're able to do, there are programs out there and websites. So I used a website called Stitch Fiddle, and I uploaded the design that I wanted and it turned it into a graph. And then basically I just followed the graph as my pattern. Yeah, I want to say easy peasy, but it's like, these stitches are simple because they're all double crochets, but you have to pay very close attention to how many stitches you're doing, where the color changes are, things like that. So you have to be a bit meticulous and very detailed about what you're doing. And this was just with 2 colors. Like you can do this with a whole array of colors. The other thing I learned as I was going with this is bobbins are my friend. While I was doing this at the beginning, I was just like, oh, I'll put this skein of yarn here and this skein of yarn here and this skein of yarn here. Oh, the knot that I created. Oh my gosh. I literally spent one entire evening untangling a massive knot that happened. It was not a good use of my time. So after that, actually, I was at my mom's and she found a bag of bobbins that were my grandma's. And she was like, are these useful for you? I was like, what timing? I actually really need those. So I had used my grandma's bobbins and used it to separate out the yarn and place it a little bit better. So it worked out. Grandma helped me one more time. So yeah, and now here I am, 17 rows away from completion. Yes! Yes. The other thing I need to work on is I need to find all of these ends like these and just kind of get a yarn needle and sew them in. So I do have a few. There were a lot that I sort of crocheted in as I was going, but there obviously are a number that I did not. And it's just sort of, it sort of depended on like where the bobbin was and if it was like what color it was next to, if I could camouflage it while I was going. There are a few that I did that and it didn't quite look right. So like over here, you could see this one doesn't quite look right. So I may try to camouflage that a little bit better. So at this point, I think I'm ready to resume those other two projects that I was working on. So just as a reminder, let me show you where I left off on both. So here's where I left off on my self-portrait. So it's coming along well. I have to do a lot more painting of my face and probably a little more to the hair. I think that it would benefit from some more layering of colors on the hair. What I've decided to do over here, I want to get, actually I should say, magazine clippings. So basically what I want to do is I want to combine an old project with a current project. So I had these collages that I used to make many, many years ago, and I saved magazine clippings for those collages. So I'm going to pull out my stash of clippings, and I'm going to use those clippings over here. And then this will be painted. Like I said, I have to add more details and more layers to this. And that's where this is at. And my brain is like sort of organizing what it needs to do. And I'm really happy with how this is coming out so far. This is coming out good. And then I have my sketchbook. Let me find that picture I was working on. Some of these are better than others. But. There it is. Ah, come back. Okay. So this is what I was working on. This was my sketch of Johnny Depp. It's a work in progress. Probably about a third of the way done with this. And yeah, I got the sketchbook back out, and we're gonna keep working on this. We're gonna get through this. So I guess the next part I have to work on is over here. I clearly outlined it, like that was my intention, that was the next zone I was gonna work on. So I better hop to it, huh? I think I'm going to challenge myself to do a little bit of art every single day. Kind of similar to when I did the 100 Days of Ukulele challenge, but not necessarily quite as structured as when I did that. I want to make sure I'm having this outlet. I want to make sure I'm doing something every day. I want to make sure that I am not focused outwardly as much and let myself experience my internal thought process and have ways of expressing that a little bit better, because it's been kind of contained lately, and this is very important for me to do. It's very good for me to do. Honestly, it's the core of who I am, and I'm not the best artist. I mean, it's a hobby. I wouldn't even call it like artist, like I can do this professionally, because I can't. But it's a passion. It's a passion. And it's a way that I know I can get feelings and emotions that I'm not always great at putting words to outward. And I have to work on being okay that my talent doesn't match my vision. And by doing a little bit of art every day, I hope that my skill level will improve. Because I look at it like this, right? Like talent is like the innate trait that you're born with, and skill is the teachable, learnable, way of improving. So that's like there's a spectrum and they overlap. Like if it's a Venn diagram, the two circles, right? There's an overlap between them. And if talent is innate, and it is what it is, but you can improve the skills, you can buff up the talent, if that makes sense, right? Like you can support it, you can make it better. Like I don't know. I don't know if I'm describing this well, but it makes sense to me. But that's my thought process. And I've been working on this blanket a little bit every day, and honestly, like my crochet skills have leveled up in doing this. The speed I was doing it when I started versus the speed I was doing it as I got to the end. The tightness of my stitches, like the consistency, the color changes got smoother as I went along. Like all these things, like each time it got a little bit better. So my goal is a little bit of art every single day. It doesn't have to be a big project. It just has to be something. That's my goal. That's my goal. And we'll check in on it. I'll keep you updated how it goes. But that's where I'm at right now. So I guess with that, I'm done for the day. I'll see you all real soon. And until then, stay inspired. Bye, everyone. Take care.